What's up guys, and welcome back to another Reddit video here on the Life Stories channel. My name's Dylan, and today we're going to be looking at some stories from the subreddit Tales from the Front Desk. So sit back, relax and enjoy the show. The Tale of Homeless Helen. This happened last week and I've been trying to post but haven't had the time due to work being so ridiculous. So around 3 AM, right before I usually start prepping the breakfast area for the breakfast lady, I get a call from my boyfriend next door. The cast is K, Kobe, my boyfriend, and T, trainee. Me. Thank you for calling. K. Geeb, you have a homeless lady and her dog coming your way. She just told me she was going there when I kicked her out. Me. Okay, do I need to lock down our doors? Is she dangerous? K. No, but just let her know she can't loiter on property, especially not with a dog. T. She's a crazy girl. After hanging up, I got a call from the gas station. Same story, basically kicked her out. I felt bad, but at the same time she knows she's not supposed to be trespassing. While putting out breakfast, I started playing scenarios in my head of what I could say and do. I was nervous as I'd never had to do anything like that before. Well, as I'm finishing up, I hear someone trying the back door by the pool aggressively. I just sigh and get things done, but overall I'm kind of shaky on telling her to leave. I had a guest needing to check out when I remembered I'd locked up front doors as a precaution, especially with someone with a dog, so we have to be careful. I look and see a small white dog jumping up to the man going to his car, which was hurriedly ran off, and then I knew it was time to make her skedaddle. I wish it was a skedaddle, get on that skedaddle and ride your butt out of my sight. But no, I had to try to be nice. I walked up, hands in my pockets calmly, when this lady looked over and said, "Oh good, someone can help me." Me internally looking around like, who? I can't help you, lady. HH is homeless Helen, and G is for Geeb, that's me. HH, look, I've been dropped off here in town because my car overturned and they brought it to shop. Do you know where that is? I shook my head because I knew this is all rubbish. Well, they bought it there. You can see I'm not supposed to be here. I know you aren't. I'm an undercover police officer. I was making my way down the highway here when I stopped off by road going to Texas because there's a drug bust. We found all the drugs going into Texas are coming from a nearby town. Road, where she was going, is not towards Texas at all. As she's telling me all of this, I'm analysing her clothing and body language, looking at her dog who was shoved in her jacket. Just really taking in her appearance because it was too much for one glance. She had on blue jean shorts over a pair of white pants, some sort of brown dress with blue flowers on it, a big brown coat with her dog stuffed inside, and some sort of rubber boot that she'd cut down about her ankle. She was holding onto a Bible, a ripped open package bubble wrap envelope thing, and her phone. Oh, and at one point had a phone cord as a leash/collar for the dog. I let her continue on her rant. HH. I have rooms up and down from here from Florida to California. They're either under name 1 or name 2. My dog is a military service animal, the one who just jumped on a guest, and needs to be inside, and I need to make sure that Deputy McCoy, like the Hatefields and the McCoys, comes here to get me. Now look folks, I know who we have in house, we're book solid. And although we weren't too busy the next night, we had no one under the very obscure name she described. I check my arrivals after audit and make sure our receipts are printed for the checkouts. Also not a single service animal on file, which, ding ding, you guessed it, is a big flag, even if no one would have tipped me off. So here she is asking me to check my system for her name, but as you might guess I was not wasting my time doing any of that. Why? Because she's obviously on something or crazy in the coconut. I do, however, get a coffee cup, fill it with ice water, grab an apple, and go outside to break it to her that she needs to leave. G. Well, I didn't find anything, but here's some water and an apple. HH. What names did you specifically check, spelling and all? G. Looking at her dead in the face. Look, I know you aren't staying here as we're booked up tonight. HH. What names? G. I know you're not a guest for this weekend either, as we have our 3rd floor out for renovations and you have your service animal with you, which you didn't register online when you booked with us, which you don't, but hey, she was pissing me off at this point. HH. It's a simple answer. What names? G. I'm gonna be real. No, I didn't look you up. I got calls about you from next door and the gas station down the road. HH. All I ask for is honesty. Me, internally pacing backward and forth angrily, about to whip some booty. G. Like I said, you aren't a guest here, and I've let you stay out here for 15 minutes, now I'll give you another 15 minutes to eat your apple and collect yourself and leave, as loitering is against our company policy. As is your service animal being out there with you jumping onto our guests. I've been nice enough to let you stay a little longer, so please don't make me take any further actions. She assured me she would be leaving. Well, she comes inside a little later when I was going out to change the papers in the lobby and starts looking at our Halloween candy bowl and our jar for members contest. I asked her if she needed anything else and she was asking me for coffee, so I informed her that she had to stay outdoors with the dog and that we had no coffee until 6 or so for our members' guests staying in house. She slowly went outside and sat for a little longer when I realised she needed some help. She obviously is homeless, begging my guests for money and trying to barter her Bible for smokes. It got out of hand in the 15 minutes I let her stay after I told her. I called the non-emergency hotline to ask them to help her as she was loitering and seemed to be on something or needed to be on something. I explained the entire spiel, then even gave the Deputy McCoy line, to which they laughed because there is no one here or in that area around us with that name. They told me they would be sending someone out there shortly. I asked not to be involved in that and they agreed to keep me out of it. Expecting her to be nice and leaving at the 15-minute mark, I called the hotel next door. Chill dude was like, nah, she can't even get in here, I locked my stuff. Called the one after that. Oh god, please, I hope she doesn't come here. I was like, it's okay, it's just a heads up to call the police if she ends up there. Well, at the 25-minute mark, she walked in and was asking my breakfast lady for a ride. Needless to say, she asked to stay a little longer, to which I let her because I knew the cops were on the way. Well, a little later the cops pulled up and my second breakfast lady comes in, shocked, like, what the hell are y'all doing from over here? I explain everything and she tells me later she was taken to jail. Which we were all like, well, we just wanted her to leave the property, but she could have been on drugs or impersonating a police officer in general as an offence, so she left. My co-worker did point out that the dog was gone too, which I never meant the dog to go to jail too, it's just not suitable for him to be with HH and her crazy behind. As harsh as it is, as much as you want to help, there are some folks that just need a lot more help than you can give. In which a life is saved. A short tale today as the actual incident was over in the blink of an eye. Tonight, gentle readers, we shall speak of the time I saved a life. 2 years ago, seriously I got the book-faced memory post yesterday, it was a typical lazy sort of morning. I was setting up the coffee station and engaging in pleasant conversation with some of our guests. A nice middle-aged couple travelling with their 2 small dogs. It was some sort of Yorkie mix if I recall. They were quite enthusiastic about staying at our hotel, as the Lacking Tea brand is known for being pet friendly. I directed them to various points of interest in the town, for those with critters, pet food store down the street, the dog park with a small dog section, that sort of thing. They thanked me and headed up to their room. I'm swapping the new coffee pot in for the old one, and I hear an "ah" from the closing door of the elevator. It seemed that one of the dogs has decided to step out of the elevator to sniff something, and the thin leash wasn't enough to prevent the door from closing. Gentle readers, I am by no means anything that could be considered athletic. The only thing keeping me from complete potato head is the fact that I bike to work each day. But some people can do strange things in emergencies, and I don't think I've ever moved that fast in my life. I'm pretty certain that I teleported the 30 meters to the elevator doors. I managed to unclip the dog's leash just in the nick of time. The clip yanked out of my hands and swiftly vanished up to the top of the elevator door. Had that dog still been attached, it almost certainly would have been seriously injured or killed by the process. Maybe the clip or the collar would have failed, but probably not before the tragedy occurred. I collected myself a bit, as one does after a bit of lightning panic. The emergency buzzer for the elevator went off a couple of times before the cab went back down. The owners were absolutely panicked as the leash had been pulled out of her hand with great force and they feared the worst. Their relief upon seeing the unharmed pupper was enormous, although I was initially worried the female owner was about to faint from the emotional overload. The dog was completely unconcerned about the whole thing, wondering what all the fuss was about and why it was being cuddled suddenly. Praise and hugs were lauded upon me, but after a bit the morning proceeded as it usually did. I didn't think much of it beyond a warm glow of accomplishment, at least not until I went to work the next night. So there, mounted upon the wall directly above the timecard machine, was something new. A certificate of heroism, framed and emblazoned with a photo of a couple and their dogs. Attached was a nice letter from them and a $50 gift certificate to the casual dining restaurant next door. They had impressed upon my manager their thanks for the situation, and he had made the certificate and got the frame. I just now realised he must have got it printed at the local office thing because we didn't have a coloured printer. Point being, he put a lot of effort into it. I saw the video and I didn't know you could move that fast. Neither did I. Anyway, I have the certificate up on the wall at home. The couple comes through a few times since and asked about me each time. So yeah, warm fuzzies for me. Yay. I legitimately think I saw this man on the news a couple of years ago. Either that was him or it happens somewhat more frequently. But what a story. I may have just messed up. I work as the front desk manager, as well as the semi-accountant for a small 98-room property. When I started there was a general manager, a sales manager, an executive housekeeper, and me making up the management for the hotel. Back in May, our general manager left, and basically to cut costs, his responsibilities were split between me and the sales manager. Me and her actually made fast friends and have gotten to be pretty close through working so closely together. Our current general manager is someone who works for our owners and moves from property to property. I work as the person who does most of the accounting and office work, and our sales manager handles the day-to-day operations and employees that aren't front desk. Neither of us get paid enough. Our hotel is undergoing renovation, and it's really affected the amount of money we're able to bring in at the end of our busy period. And now that our slow season is here, our owners are looking to save as much money as possible. One thing they've been discussing are layoffs, as well as cutting hours from full-time employees to part-time employees. At the desk, I have 3 full-time, 1 full-time audit who is senior employee, and 2 part-time employees. So our sales manager told me I needed to cut 1 day off the shift hours, who were already working part-time, as well as cut 1 day from the full-time auditor and give it to the part-time, so both would be part-time employees. I didn't like that, and it doesn't seem fair to me, and I know cuts are never, but it just seemed like a really rubbish thing to do. These people have bills to pay, and she'd be losing an entire 16 hours of pay every check. I told her this, and I told her I thought it was rubbish and that I didn't want to do it. She said she was getting pressure from our general manager and every department was making cuts. Today our general manager was at the hotel and I took him aside and spoke to him about it. I told him I didn't like doing that to the NA and it felt really gross to me. He understood, seemingly, because he told me as long as I made it the cut to our day shift, I wouldn't have to touch the full-time NA. I was pretty excited and felt like I did what was right, but when I told our sales manager, she flipped. She told me she felt betrayed that I would go behind her back like that and I should have done what she said. She says it shows that I'm favouring this one employee over the others, and because I'm afraid the NA would quit, as if I went through with it. Anyway, it all ended up with the sales manager taking it really personal and saying I threw away our friendship and she can't forgive me for betraying her. I tried to explain that I never meant it personally, or even felt I was going above her, as the initial day she told me to do it, I'm sure I mentioned bringing it up to general manager because it wasn't fair. It sucks and I feel like I did the right thing, but also now I've lost a very good friend. The worst part is me and her share an office, which should be interesting tomorrow, I don't know. Well, if anyone cut my hours when I was a full-time employee depending on that to pay my bills, I would be out of the door. Well guys, that's the end of today's video. If you guys did enjoy, leave a like rating down below, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.